I've been like this since a child. Y'all listen to Rod Wave? I like Rod Wave. So tell me what you need. University of Florida. So the University of Florida, they're saying I always like to start out with the tuition. It's a very simple process, right? When I'm talking about higher education, my little process is tuition. If you can't afford the tuition alone, you don't really need to go to the school because when they throw on the room and board and the meal plans, you're over with. So let's do the tuition. So they're saying their average tuition, they say the average annual cost, so I'm gonna have to divide that by two. But they're saying the average annual cost is $6,351. Tuition and fees. I always type in tuition and fees when I'm talking about when I'm looking up schools. If you just type in the school name, it's gonna show you the Google version. You don't want that. You want the real version. And then use the scorecard in the comment description, but also fact check it. I don't want them to estimate my cost. Never let them estimate your cost because they'll throw in an extra $5,000 for your living lifestyle. It does not take me an extra $5,000 to live my lifestyle and go to school. I don't know who they think I am. Because if they throw an extra $5,000 for one semester, that's $10,000 for the year. And I don't know what they think living expenses that is. So I would say that my extra 10,000 go to my apartment. That's what it did for my living lifestyle. But I don't know what they don't know how to calculate. Never use the estimate of the school. It's going to lead you in the wrong direction. 2022. Now, why would they not have 2024 to 2025? Here you go, right here. Now tell me why is it on the side? So I'm gonna go off their old one, which is from 2023 to 2024. Now they could have it up here, but I see everything from 2017 to 2023 to 2024. This is their school website. So you can call the school and say, hey, I need to find this because it's not aligning with my for this upcoming year. That's a problem because I need to see that so I can budget for the upcoming year. It's $105 per credit hour. But I believe what they did, yeah, that's what they did. They combined it to where you're going to be, if you're a resident and you're undergraduate, freshman to senior year of undergraduate, just starting school, you're looking at 212. That's what we said last time. You're looking at 212. So 212 is 212.71. That matters a lot. Always put the change in there. That makes a big difference. 212 and 71 times, if you're going to be a college student, you're going to take probably 12 credit hours or 15. But in this case, we're going to do 12. 3, 6, 9, 12 per credit hour. 3 per credit hour is usually like, you would probably see like, that's like your math. You should see a 3 next to it, but I'm not going to confuse you. It's usually 12 for your course schedule. And then what you're going to do, you're going to equal it. It's going to be 25.52. That's what we got last time. And so if you do 25.52 and 52 cents times 2, because 2 semesters, that's going to give you what? $5,105. And like we said in the video last time, but I was muted, it's going to cost you what? Not cost you, but the college scorecard is factoring in. They say it's gonna cost you like $6,000, $63.51 for a year. Right now, if you're gonna be a resident, undergraduate there at the school, I'm looking at, unless they upped it, I'm looking at $5,105. So once again, well, we know Pell Grant, or if you're a Pell Grant student, either way. But we know like if your parents helping out with school, they're only charging you $25.52 in Florida, at Florida University. Shout out to the Gators. They're only gonna charge you $25.52. That's very good. I used to pay $13 at my 2-year, $1,200 per semester. So that's not bad. Now, if you can save a lot of money, because in Florida they have great prices for community colleges. So please do that. Always calculate. And University of Florida is a very good school. Now I can't speak for their their graduate programs. The prices get crazy. Then if you want to get your law degree, but just to give you an idea, I pay about I get charged this price, their undergraduate price, I get charged that in graduate school. They're saying after you graduate college here, earnings of an individual that receive, they always say the individuals that receive federal student aid, but after you started this school, you have a chance of making $71,000 after you graduate. Most schools, most 4 years are going to get you like 53 after graduating. So 71K ain't bad. And never get a room, don't get room and board, and don't get a meal plan at a university. I always have to stress that and emphasize that. Unless you need it. Unless your living arrangement is very different. I advise you to explore the off-campus opportunities they're going to provide you. That's what my university did. So students who return after their first year, they say 97%. You can talk to the students yourself. If you really want to get curious, you can ask them how it is at the institution. But they said they have a 97% return after the first year. I always like to talk about the debt. They said debt, you looking at like the typical debt for undergraduate borrowers is about $15,000. In the last video, well, when we did this the first time, I was like, that makes sense because if you stay on campus, they're charging you like an additional 15K. Like each year you're adding on like an additional 10 to 15K when you tack on like on campus amenities. So you being 15K in debt, really it's gonna be more than 15K in debt, but it makes sense that it's gonna be 15 or more. So that's what I'm getting at. But they say 12% students receiving federal loans. Now when they say federal loans, let's be clear. Federal loans. That doesn't mean the private loans. What's the private loans? Banking at the Wells Fargo, I said their name. Banking at the Wells Fargo's, the JP Morgans, or whatever big banks, as an example. These are just examples. But they didn't mention that part. You always have to factor in that part, because remember, if it was only 12% of people receiving federal student loans, we wouldn't be in $1.7 trillion of student loan debt. Common sense, right? They got campus diversity on here on the College Scorecard. If you want to look at that, if you feel like diversity matters to you a lot and you want to be around a certain demographic of people, then they have that on there for you. But my best advice is to actually use that college tour to see for yourself. Can't believe all the statistics sometimes. And so they have an acceptance rate of 24% of people. So I'm assuming when you try to go in straight after high school, you have a 24% chance or less of getting in. That's why I say if you do the 2-year, that increases your chance a lot because that school has an obligation to fulfill with your 2-year. You just have to make sure your 2-year has a partnership with your dream 4-year school, because that's going to lead to a 2-year you should go to so you can get to that 4-year. Strategic, right? So that's pretty much it for the University of Florida. I like their prices. Like tuition alone, I would go there, stay off campus, check out the campus, right? See if it fits me. Do I like that Florida environment? Do not be an out-of-state student trying to go to a school like that's not in your state. Always go to a school in your state. Always go to a school in your state. Never go out of state unless you're on a full ride scholarship. Just like an athlete, because they're going to charge you double if you're out of state. We done. Debt-free degree. They say I bring debt, but we ain't.